molecular spectroscopy in this chapter. So today we are going to discuss electromagnetic spectrum and interaction of radiation with matter and the different energy levels in molecules and classification of molecules based on moment of inertia. Electromagnetic radiation comprises both magnetic component and electric component. They will be having, they will be propagating in straight direction, and the angle between this electric component and magnetic field component will be 90 degrees. Composition of EMR is the cosmic rays, gamma rays, X-rays, UV visible rays and infrared rays, microwave and radio wave. From cosmic rays to radio waves, energy will be decreasing, and the wavelength, it will be in reverse, okay, indirectly proportional to the wavelength. Energy is indirectly proportional to wavelength. The wavelength will be changing, and the frequency is directly proportional to energy. From cosmic rays to radio waves, frequency will be increasing, and energy is decreasing means frequency will be decreasing. And characterization of EMR, electromagnetic radiation. So we can express this electromagnetic radiation with respect to wavelength and frequency and wave number. So what is the wavelength? The linear distance between two successive crest or trough we will be taking, that is known as a wavelength. Okay. The unit for this wavelength is mostly nanometers we will be using. A frequency, the number of vibrations or oscillations per second is known as the frequency. The unit for this is frequency is hertz, and wave number, this is a nu bar. Nu bar is the wave number. The reciprocal of the wavelength is known as wave number. We are expressing the wave number in centimeter inverse. We will be having a numerical problem based on these lambda to frequency, frequency to wave number, and energy conversions. Mostly we will use these formulas. E is equal to h nu, E is equal to energy, h is equal to Planck's constant, nu is equal to frequency, and frequency is equal to c by lambda. Even E is equal to hc by lambda, and nu is equal to c nu bar. Even force constant determination, we are using this nu is equal to c nu bar. Here c is equal to velocity of light. If we can take this velocity of light in centimeter per second or meter per second, lambda in nanometers, frequency in hertz, wavelength in nanometers, energy, we will be calculating. Let us see from gamma rays to radio waves how the wavelength is, how the wave number is, how the energy is. Energy is decreasing from gamma rays to nuclear magnetic resonance, that is radio waves. Gamma rays, X-rays, visible UV and infrared, microwave, and ESR is comprises the same thing, microwave only, and NMR, radio waves. From gamma rays to radio waves, energy is decreasing. From gamma rays to radio waves, the wave number is decreasing. From gamma rays to radio waves, wavelength is increasing. You keep in mind the relation between wavelength and wave number and energy. Just by seeing these formulas or by seeing these values, we can remember. The electromagnetic radiation energy range. So whichever we have provided in this slide, from 10 power minus 3 joules per mole, millijoules, to even 10 power 9 joules per mole. That is the range of EMR. We are having particularly the visible range, that is from 400 nanometer to 700 nanometers. Even we can convert this to visible range, that is 10 power 5. Just you see that 100 kilojoule per mole. That is what our range. And the energy levels in molecules. So we are having electronic energy levels, we are having vibrational energy levels, we are having rotational energy levels. Let us how these energy levels will be. S0, S1, S2, S3, S4. All these are electronic energy levels. This is a singlet. That is S0, S1, S2, S3, S4. Within S0 and S1, we are having V1, V2, V3. They are vibrational levels. Within S0 or V0 to V1, we are having rotational energy levels. That is J1, J2, J3, J4, J5, J6. Okay. This is the representation of energy levels in molecules. First, electronic energy levels will be there. Within electronic energy levels, we'll be having vibrational energy levels, and we will be having rotational energy levels. This is what energy levels in molecule. Let us see first H0 to S1 what will happen and what is the energy range, and what are the spectroscopies we can study within this range. We have taken only the two energy levels, that is ground state energy level, that is S0, and S1, how the vibrational energy levels and the rotational energy levels. So let us see from H0 to S1, electron is moving, or if it is exciting. Is if you are studying this type of electronic transitions, that is known as UV visible spectroscopy. And if the energy, if you are studying vibrational transitions, that is V0 to V1, if you are, that is known as IR spectroscopy or vibrational spectroscopy. If you are studying this blue color, just you see from J0 to J1, small thing, or J0 to J2 or J1 to J2, like that. If you are studying these rotational transitions, that is known as microwave spectroscopy. This is the first. If you are studying the electronics transitions, that is known as UV visible spectroscopy. We can write another definition. The spectroscopy is interaction of matter with radiation, that is known as spectroscopy. Interaction of matter with UV visible radiation is known as UV visible spectroscopy. But during that, we are going to study electronic transitions. That is electronic spectroscopy or UV visible spectroscopy. So vibrational transitions and vibrational spectroscopy or infrared spectroscopy. Rotational transitions, microwave spectroscopy or rotational spectroscopy. These are the energy levels in molecules. And the difference in energy level, that is from within two electronic energy levels, difference is 120 kilojoules per mole. Within vibrational levels, what is the electronic vibrational energy levels? That is del V2 minus V1 or del V1. Del V is 12 kilojoule per mole, and rotational energy levels difference is 0.012 kilojoule per mole. See that 1000 times. The rotational energy levels difference is 0.1012 kilojoule per mole, but vibrational energy levels is 12 kilojoule per mole. Now, how many times this was? 1000 times. If you want to see this V0 to V1, 12 kilojoule per mole, this rotational energy level is 0.012, that is exactly 1000 times. Exactly 1000 times. And even 120 means 10,000 times. The rotational to electronic is around 10,000 times. Rotational to vibration is around 1000 times. This is what the energy difference. Even we can express this energy in the form of wavelength, or we can express this energy in the form of wave number. If you see in wave number, the energy, the first rotational energy levels, the difference is 10 centimeter inverse. Vibrational energy levels difference is 1000 centimeter inverse. The electronic energy levels difference is 3000 centimeter, 30,000 centimeter inverse. We are expressing the energy in kilojoules. We are expressing the energy in the form of wave number. Even we can express this in hertz. We can express this in nanometers. This is the energy level expression in molecules. If you are studying vibrational level, that is vibrational spectroscopy. If you are studying electronic energy level transitions, that is electronic spectroscopy or UV visible spectroscopy. Now, the energy levels present in the molecule, that is electronic energy level, vibrational energy level, and rotational energy level. And one more is there, that is translational energy level. Why we have not shown this translational energy level in this diagram is, this translational energy level was not quantized. Moreover, it can be calculated or determined for gaseous molecules. For liquid molecules, the quantity of this translational energy will be very less. And for solids, it is negligible. That's what in rotational spectroscopy, or in this particular spectroscopy, we are not considering this translational energy level. We are considering only electronic energy levels and vibrational energy levels and rotational energy levels. How these energy levels will be? Due to rotation, if you are through fixed axis, if you are rotating the molecule, it requires energy, that is rotational energy. And due to translational motion, if molecule is getting energy, that is translational energy. So mostly it is a kinetic energy. And due to vibrations, if molecule, if it is, that is known as vibrational energy. The total energy of a molecule will be now energy of translational and energy of rotational plus energy of vibrational plus energy of electronic. This is what the total energy of the molecule. In rotational spectroscopy, we are neglecting this translational energy. The translational energy level is the small amount of kinetic energy stored in a molecule. So for gaseous molecules, it will be considerable. For liquids, it will be very less. For solids, and moreover, it is not quantized. This is the translational energy. You see, due to the movement, if you are due to the kinetic energy of the molecule, so this translational energy will come, and this is very less. And along with rotation, you are having translational energy. Let us see here, rotational and translational. Both energies are there. Here molecules are rotating as well as is moving. This is translational and rotational. Both energy levels can be seen in this. Now, the spectroscopy, definition of the spectroscopy is interaction of matter with electromagnetic radiation. The matter may be solid, liquid, or gas. This electromagnetic radiation may be gamma rays, X-rays, UV, visible, IR, microwave, radio wave. These are the electromagnetic radiations. Now, the classification of molecules based on moment of inertia. Before going to classify the molecules based on moment of inertia, we should know what is moment of inertia. The moment of inertia means it is a physical quantity. It describes how easily molecule can be rotated in a given axis. This is known as moment of inertia. And moment of inertia formula is mu is equal to mr square, or I is equal to mu r square. Just let us, what is mu? Mu is equal to m1 into m2 divided by m1 plus m2. R square is the distance from the center of the gravity of the molecule. Okay, I is equal to mu r square. That is the formula for moment of inertia. Or otherwise, we can define this moment of inertia in one more way. That is, it is a measure of resistance of the molecule against rotation. Okay, it is even, so we can take a simple example. If you are starting the vehicle, that time we can see the inertia or moment of inertia, or if you are stopping the vehicle or train, suddenly if you are, we will be moving towards this front side. This is due to moment of inertia. The similarly molecules are having that only, just we are expressing in the form of the moment of inertia with respect to x-axis, moment of inertia with respect to y-axis, moment of inertia with respect to z-axis. So before going to before going to classify the molecules based on moment of inertia, we should know what is the molecule and what is the atomicity. Monoatomic molecules means atoms or molecules. We can consider both helium atom or helium molecule. Just for diatomic molecules, it composes with two atoms, same atom or different atom. That is known as diatomic molecule. Triatomic means it may be same atom or different atoms. It will be. That is known as triatomic molecule. Polyatomic molecule means it will be having n number of atoms. Atomicity means the number of atoms present in the molecule is known as atomicity. Okay. So now we are classifying the molecules based on moment of inertia. We know the definition of moment of inertia and we know the formula I is equal to mu r square. And based on the I value, based on the moment of inertia, we are classifying the molecules into four types. One is linear molecule, second is symmetric top molecules, third is asymmetric top molecule, fourth is spherical molecule. Let us see one by one what is linear molecule. We are taking a carbon linear molecule, carbon dioxide. Let us, carbon dioxide moment of inertia through x-axis, through y-axis, through z-axis. Let us see here. Instead of writing x, y, z, we have written IA, IB, IC. Let us, through oxygen, carbon and oxygen, if axis is going, what happens to the moment of inertia? Moment of inertia will be 0. Okay, that is IA is 0. Let us see our axis, rotational axis is going through oxygen, carbon and oxygen. What happens to the moment of inertia? Moment of inertia will be 0. Let us, if our axis is going through carbon, through this direction vertically, IC, that is in Z direction, let us. So what happened to the moment of inertia? It will be having moment of inertia. That's, we are indicating it with IC. Let us take a perpendicular to IC, that is exactly like a X, Y, Z. Now X is IA, Y is IB, Z is IC. Now Y and Z, they are perpendicular. Now this axis is going through carbon. So now this moment of inertia in y-axis, moment of inertia in z-axis will be equal. Moment of inertia in x-axis will be 0. For linear molecules, IA will be 0 and IB equal to IC. This is the requirement for linear molecule. For linear molecule, IA is equal to 0, IB equal to IC. Keep in mind similar type of molecules can be identified by seeing these axes just through X, through Y, through Z. Let us, instead of oxygen, if you are keeping HCN, just let us, we are replacing the oxygens and carbon with HCN. Similarly, now HCN through IA is 0. IA is 0. IB and IC will be equal. Let us, this is the linear molecule. Now hydrogen cyanide is the linear molecule. Carbon dioxide is the linear molecule. The moment of inertia will be depending on the mass of the atom and the or distance from the center of the gravity. Okay, keep in mind, in that case here in IA, all atoms are on the axis. That means mass effect and radius effect will be nil. That's what IA is becoming 0. Why IA is becoming 0 for this carbon dioxide? All the atoms are on the axis. All the atoms are on the axis. And this distance R also, it doesn't have any effect on moment of inertia. That's what IA is becoming 0. But if you come to the IB and IC, the moment of inertia through carbon, our axis is going IC axis. So what happens if you are rotating, this mass of these oxygen atoms will influence the moment of inertia. That's what IC is having a value. Similarly, if the axis is going through carbon atom perpendicularly to IC, that is IB now, we are sending the axis through y-axis, let us. If you are rotating the molecule through the axis, what happened? Now also the mass of the oxygen atoms will influence the moment of inertia. But this IB and IC are equal. Why it is equal now? Just let us see. There is no difference between these two. Both are same. That's what IB is equal to IC. But if we come to the IA, why it is becoming 0? All the atoms are on the axis. That is the reason IA is becoming 0. For linear molecules, the criteria is IA is 0, IB equal to IC. You can consider X or Y or Z anyway, just you even we can interchange this. That is not a problem. We should understand this concept. If all atoms are on the axis, what happens? IA is becoming 0. Next, similarly HCN, you see that hydrogen, carbon and nitrogen all are on the axis. Now there is no effect of hydrogen or carbon nitrogen mass. There is no effect of radius. That's what IA is mu or I is equal to mu r square. Now IA is becoming 0. But if we come to the IC and IB, what happens? Now definitely the influence of hydrogen and nitrogen mass will be there on the moment of inertia. Definitely the moment of inertia will be influenced by hydrogen and nitrogen. This is the linear molecule, hydrogen cyanide. Similarly, one more molecule, that is carbon dioxide only, and instead of oxygen, if you are writing sulfur, OCS molecule, the same IA is equal to 0, IB, IC, IB equal to IC. This is the requirement for linear molecules. The moment of inertia in one direction will be 0, in remaining two direction will be equal. That is the major requirement for linear molecules. Similarly, one more linear molecule, HCN only, just HCl. Yes, even it is a diatomic molecule. See this, IA, the axis is going through hydrogen atom as well as chlorine. Through the atom it is going. There is no effect of chlorine mass or hydrogen mass on moment of inertia. And moment of inertia will be 0. But in IB and IC, moment of inertia, both are equal, but we are having certain value for that. because one side hydrogen, one side chlorine. So this is the requirement of linear molecules. Ia equal to 0, Ib equal to Ic. Moment of inertia in two axes will be equal. In one axis it will be 0. Similarly, formaldehyde molecule. Up to now we have discussed linear molecules. Now we go for asymmetric top molecules. Let us take formaldehyde molecule and let us see all Ia, Ib and Ic. Ia, now the axis we are sending, the axis is going through carbon and oxygen. Though it is going through carbon and left and right, two hydrogens are there. That means Ia cannot be 0 here. Ia is there. And if you come to the Ib and Ic, the Ib will be going through hydrogen and carbon, and Ic will be going through carbon. So now what happens? Ib will be different from Ic and different from Ia. That means Ia is not equal to Ib is not equal to Ic. The moment of inertia of this molecule in three directions is not equal. That means it is having a different value. By seeing the structure, by seeing the axis, we can see just, and we can tell whether the moment of inertia will be there or not. It is there, but all are not equal. They are different. This is asymmetric top molecule. And similarly, one more asymmetric top molecule, just vinyl chloride. Vinyl chloride, see, instead of one hydrogen, we are keeping chlorine. What happens? We are disturbing the moment of inertia. Now chlorine influence will be there, and Ia will be different, and Ib will be different, Ic will be different. Because of the chlorine. Here asymmetry is coming due to the chlorine. If hydrogen is there, what will happen? If hydrogen is there, ethylene molecule, this molecule will be, Ia will be different, Ib and Ic will be same. Okay. Ia, it will be going through carbon and carbon. And now if you are replacing the hydrogen with chlorine, what happens? Ia is not equal to Ib is not equal to Ic. Similarly, water, just for water molecule also, Ia is not equal to Ib is not equal to Ic. This is the moment of inertia. Just we are seeing in all three axes, and we are categorizing the molecules. The first category is linear molecule, and second category is asymmetric top molecules. If Ia is not equal to Ib is not equal to Ic, means that is asymmetric top molecule. There is no symmetry in this. Okay. And spherical molecules. Let us take methane. Methane is tetrahedral, and to differentiate the hydrogens, we have given different color. Now let us see the moment of inertia in X direction, the moment of inertia in Y direction, the moment of inertia in Z direction. See that in each case, the axis is going through carbon and hydrogen. Just let us imagine the tetrahedral. Just we are changing the axis, but the atom connectivity is same. Just you see that the carbon, hydrogen, green and blue, green and red, green and again green. Through those atoms, these axes are going. So now all are equal. Ia is becoming equivalent to Ib, and Ib is equivalent to Ic. This is spherical molecules. Just you remember this criteria alone. Ia equal to Ib equal to Ic. So what is the type of molecule? it is a spherical molecule. If it is not equal, asymmetrical top molecule. And linear molecules, Ia equal to 0, Ib equal to Ic. Three categories we have discussed up to now. Okay. One more spherical molecule, silane. Instead of methane, just we are replacing the carbon with silicon. This is known as silane. Silane also will come under spherical molecule. Now, symmetrical top molecule, fourth category, just symmetrical top molecule. In this symmetrical top molecule, Ia is not equal to Ib, but Ib equal to Ic. That means Ia may be lesser than Ib Ic, or Ia is greater than Ib Ic. Two chances are there. All are not equal to 0, but Ia is not equal to Ib and Ic. So now, Ia may be lesser than Ib and Ic. Ia is greater than Ib and Ic. Based on this, just we are again classifying the molecule, the symmetrical top molecules into two types, that is prolate symmetrical top molecule and oblate symmetrical top molecule. Now let us see what is this prolate and oblate. Just see, all are equal means that is a sphere. Ia equal to Ib equal to Ic. That is a spherical. Now, if A is lesser than C, that is in one direction, any one direction, may be X or Y or Z. If two other axes are reduced, that is known as prolate. Okay, prolate spheroid. Let us, if two axes are increasing and third axis is decreasing, that is known as oblate. That means by seeing this image, we can understand what is the prolate and oblate symmetry. Prolate means two axes, that means either X or Y. Let us take XY will be decreasing and Z will be increasing. This is known as prolate vertically. Now, vertically it will be decreasing. That means in X direction and Y direction it will be increasing. This is known as oblate symmetry. The prolate and oblate. Let us apply this knowledge on molecules now. Let us see. You see that methyl fluoride. It is a spherical molecule actually. If fluorine, if you are replacing with hydrogen, it is a spherical. Now we are disturbing by replacing the hydrogen with fluorine. Now how it is becoming prolate? Let us see this. If axis is going through carbon and fluorine, what happens? It will be having moment of inertia, definitely. And axis is going through carbon and hydrogen, that is the IC. If axis is going through carbon and hydrogen, in order to distinguish these hydrogens, we have given different colors. Okay. If this carbon and fluorine, Ia is very small, because let us see why Ia is very small. You see this? Because of the fluorine, what happens? This Ia, two directions it is reducing. We are getting prolate symmetry. That means IB is reducing and Ia is increasing. That is what prolate. This blue color, fluorine and carbon on Ia axis, whatever we have just shown in the slide, this is prolate symmetrical top molecule, because it will generate like this prolate symmetrical geometry. That's what we are naming this methyl fluoride as a prolate molecule. Okay. Similarly, fluorine, if you are replacing with chlorine, reverse, just instead of substituting one hydrogen with fluorine, just we are replacing 3 hydrogens with 3 chlorines. That is chloroform. Chloroform also will come as a prolate molecule, because Ia is less and IB equal to IC. Just you see that this is also prolate. And if you are replacing one hydrogen with acetylenic group, that is C triple bond CH, acetylenic or acetylene, one hydrogen we are removing and we are keeping methyl, that is methyl acetylene. Methyl acetylene is a prolate molecule. Is just we are disturbing spherical molecule by substituting a different one, that is a symmetrical top molecule and the prolate molecule now. And if you come to the prolate, you see that even iodine is there. What happens? Two axes will be reducing and third axis will be increasing. This is known as prolate symmetrical top molecule. Let us see another different type, that is oblate. Now what happens in boron trichloride? You see that IA and IB and IC. So now this IC is higher, IB and IA, they are lower. That means it is one direction, it is reducing the moment of inertia. In remaining two directions, it was increasing. In previous case, in one direction increasing, in two directions, it is decreasing. That is the prolate. If you come to the oblate, in two directions, it was increasing, and in one direction, it was decreasing. The moment of inertia will be decreasing in one direction and increasing in two directions. That is known as oblate symmetrical top molecule, boron trichloride. You see that boron is in mid. If you are sending an axis through boron alone, what happens if you are rotating? All chlorines are creating oblate geometry. That's what it is, a oblate molecule. And even ammonia also will be coming under same category, oblate symmetrical top molecule, that is ammonia. Ammonia also in z direction it is decreasing, in x and y it is increasing the moment of inertia. This is the classification of molecules based on moment of inertia. We have discussed four types of molecules, that is linear molecule, symmetrical top molecule, asymmetrical top molecule, and spherical top molecule. In symmetrical top molecules, we are having again subdivision, that is prolate and oblate molecules.